Text Expander from Smile is supporting this edition of MacVoices. Text Expander can help you be more productive in every single application on your Mac. Find out how at textexpander.com. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices in Las Vegas at NAB. And as usual, we have to talk to Larry O'Connor because they just keep coming up with new cool stuff at Other World Computing. Larry, it's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise, Chuck. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, we haven't talked since CES, which was only it seemed like it was yesterday. It was a few months ago.
Sure thing. Well, we've got a Kedio integrated now. Our ThunderBlade Gen 2's out. We have SoftRAID for Windows, and we're a Mac company, but SoftRAID for Windows means you can actually take your Mac SoftRAID volume and now plug it interoperably into Windows. We know there's a few folks out there that have those workflows where they may have a pesky PC, a Windows machine, somewhere in the flow, and now you have the ability. You got a drive that you need to move data off of, need to work on, quite frankly. Interoperability between the Mac and the PC is something that SoftRAID for Windows, along with SoftRAID for Mac, now bring you. So this is good stuff.
Yeah, you've done SoftRAID for Mac for quite some time now, and very successfully.
SoftRAID for Mac is it's honestly, I believe, is the best RAID period on the planet. It's faster than typical hardware RAIDs. It's more reliable than hardware RAIDs. It also, unlike hardware RAIDs that depend upon smart and maybe have an alarm that you can silence and forget about, SoftRAID does predictive drive failure analysis. It's watching those drives, and way before smart is going to say there's anything wrong, SoftRAID actually will give you a warning and say it's time to replace that drive. Your data is important to us. SoftRAID is really the best opportunity performance-wise. It's also the safest when it comes to all that mass storage and making sure those drives are healthy.
So tell me about some of the things we have behind us, and especially the ThunderBay is always kind of intriguing to me.
Sure, the ThunderBay 6 is kind of right over there. It's the big brother to the ThunderBay 4. So now the ThunderBay 4 56 terabytes. The ThunderBay 6 goes up to 84 terabytes. With SoftRAID 6, which is coming along here really quickly, it'll be out this fall. You either do RAID 6, you can have dual drive parity. You can lose up to 2 drives now. Drives very rarely fail, but you never want to be in obviously a situation where a drive is out and you're worried about the data in the event something else could go wrong. So all these little things are coming down the forefront. APFS support is full in SoftRAID 6. Also full encryption that will be available in SoftRAID 6. So lots of little niceties along with, of course, higher performance and all the enhancements that we continue, all the little tweaks to keep making things better and better every year.
Now that's something I wanted to ask you about. If I'm buying a ThunderBay, am I buying it populated, or can I buy it empty and put my own drives in?
You can buy it either way. We provide them, fully certified, good to go up to 84 terabytes, or you can buy a 0 terabyte, I should say. Put your own drives in, and you can buy it with or without SoftRAID. All of them come with SoftRAID for 0 and 1. If you want to do RAID up to RAID 6, currently up to RAID 5, you can also get it with SoftRAID. We give you that option. When you buy our solution, obviously we cover those drives top to bottom. We also put those things through, literally like an 84 terabyte array is going through a 2 to 3 day burn-in. So we make sure this stuff is good. I think we're pretty competitive. I think it's a pretty good value getting a solution, but we don't stop people that want to build their own. I like building my own things, so we respect both sides of the equation.
Well, one of the reasons I asked, because I had a listener email me this question recently about several different products that they're buying the drives from Newegg, let's say, or whoever. They're buying the raw drives. And so what is the difference in the enclosures? And why does one perform better than the other? And so I think the obvious answer is it depends on the software that's built into it, the firmware that's built into it. Is that a correct statement?
Well, that's part of the equation. It's the chipsets that are inside. Thunderbolt has different options in terms of what you interface. You're going from hard drives, in this case hard drives, into a PCIe bus. So there is a SATA controller. There's multiple SATA switches actually in these solutions. So there's several things. How many do you have? Are you splitting channels? Are you giving dedicated channels? And that sounds... The long and the short of it is the hardware makes a difference, and the software makes a difference, and the drive you pick makes a difference. And in truth, you can buy our 0 terabyte enclosures and buy the raw drives from us for less than buying the full solution. But when you get the full solution, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, within the third year, so once we get past 3 years or 5 years on the enterprise units, if a drive fails, we'll replace that drive. If there's an issue where we don't have an exact drive mass, we'll replace that entire drive set. So you're getting a product that's also been fully certified, tested, assembled, ready to go out the door for you. Again, I got no problem supporting DIY. We are a DIY company, but when you get our solution, It's been tested. All the drives. We make sure they're balanced. I mean, you get a little variation between hard drives in terms of how fast each drive goes. I mean, you might have a drive that's 250 meg, you might have a drive that's 230 meg. So we try to balance those. The long and short of it is you get an array that's already been tested to perform, as opposed to sometimes you put something for production. You put something together and something's not working right. Then you're chasing your tail to find out what it is. We've got the tools to make sure that when these go out, they are balanced and they're cranking for you. Hit the ground running.
Well, okay, so you slid something there, and you're doing my segues for me. This is perfect. Do I need to match drives, either manufacturer or size or performance, when I put these in?
SoftRAID does a really good job in terms of balancing when drives are not performing at the exact same or similar levels, so that there's variation between drives, which is why you can really, even with SoftRAID, unlike a hardware RAID, you can technically put whatever you wanted in there, just kind of mix and match and let them roll. But the more variation between drives, the more negative impact to overall performance. When you're balancing for one drive that's, even a drive that's high, if one drive is an overachiever that's way out of alignment with what the norm is for a particular line, that could still cause, it creates timing issues that are accommodated, but it slows down your overall array.
Well, are there any tips that you can give us, for picking some of these products? I mean, obviously, just raw storage is one thing, performance is another. Anything else that should get into the mix?
Quality and reliability is a big thing. I mean, don't just buy on price, and you got to watch it out there. I mean, there's different classes of desktop drives. All the drives that we utilize today, primarily are from Enterprise Waterfall. I mean, these are drives that we've tested. They have very low fail rates. We have very good experience with them. And honestly, we advertise. You can see what drives we're using in our solution. So if you want to buy the exact same drives we're building with and buy our 0 gig, more power to you. Go for it. But all drives, just like everything else, memory's not built the same, SSDs aren't built the same, hard drives aren't all the same, even from the same manufacturer. There's a reason why certain drives may be a lot less than other drives. And certainly especially when you do RAID 0 and even RAID 5, I highly recommend staying away from refurbished drives. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, there are a lot of things you can buy refurbished that are fine. Hard drives, not one of them.
Right, and in fairness, I mean, a lot of the refurbished drives are just fine. I mean, you can use it for backup or archive, but not for production. Not for something you're working on every day. That's headache and heartache.
Well, thank you. It's always great to talk to you, and I appreciate a little bit of enlightenment because it's one of those things that when you start looking at this, you always have to look at price, and there's so many other factors, and OWC is one place they should definitely look.
Well, you don't want to be, save a penny and then have it cost you $1 down the road, that kind of gig, or a huge multiple of that. And one thing I tell you, if you really want to save time though, and I really got to put this thing out, I like talking about our ThunderBlade. That was the talk of the town last year. The price is now under $3,000 for 8 terabytes. Starts at under $1,000 for 1 terabyte. It's still expensive, but flash is coming down. Hard drives have a spectacular space still in everybody's workflow. But especially when you look at the cost of putting a drive inside a Mac, actually upgrading an SSD inside a Mac, being able to connect a really high-speed product like a ThunderBlade to an iMac or a Mac Mini, or even a laptop, you don't need to take that on the go. But for these desktop systems, it's actually a lot less now, and you get more performance plugging one of our ThunderBlades than upgrading that internal drive. And now you get something to go with you. It won't be stuck in that computer. So.
Okay, so walk me through this. So I plug in the ThunderBlade, and through Thunderbolt 3, and then I'm going to boot off of that drive, and I get the performance.
Well, you got two options actually. You get the performance. I mean, this performance, you're pretty well equivalent. In fact, in some cases, better than what Apple's internal drives provide. These provide end-to-end performance. I mean, they're sustained throughput all the way through, as opposed to going really, really strong, warming up, and slowing down and throttling. This product, the ThunderBlade, does not throttle. The Gen 2 product, last year's product was awesome. To hit the speeds, it threw off some heat, which is a big old heat sink. This year's model, I mean, we don't recommend ever stacking them, but we've stacked them and put them out in the 100 degrees, and they run unbelievably cool. I mean, Gen 2, I mean, we've really, really taken it up a few notches, so as we've taken that temperature down. But with a Mac, you can alias whether it be your iTunes library, your Photoshop library, if you're doing Final Cut, if you're doing Premiere, you can use an external drive for all those functions. You can also, of course, tell the system to boot off. You can enable external booting. The T2, gives you an extra step now. To enable that external booting, you actually have to tell it it's okay to boot off an external drive. But that being said, you do have the option, buy the smallest drive inside, and then buy a nice big fast drive that you can plug in on the outside. And that's actually now a lot more economical It costs a lot less. You can put 8 terabytes onto an iMac for about what Apple's charging to upgrade to 4 terabytes. So, and 2 terabytes, 1 terabyte, now you're really in that saving zone. And to me, it's unfortunate you can't upgrade the internals on these things very practically, but at least in this particular case, down the road when you want to get a new Mac, you get that big SSD that can go with you.
And the performance goes with you.
And the performance goes with you, and even better yet, and this is where, and I hate to even say it this way because I know I'm going to get in trouble with somebody, but I see it almost as parsh. It's almost to me a little bit criminal that Apple forces people to pick how much solid state they want, how big their drive is going to be when they buy their system. Solid state drives, the cost of flash is going down, but the technology continues to move forward at a really good clip. But if you buy a Mac today, you expect that machine to last 3 years, 5 years or better. You might be spending $2,000-3,000 on it. If you really up the SSD though, you're spending $4,000 or $5,000 on it, which is crazy because maybe you only need a 512 today, maybe you only need a terabyte today. But the way it's set up, especially with the laptops, which there's just no way around, you're in a position where if you know you're going to need 2 terabytes, or geez, I need 4 terabytes, you're almost like, I really can't afford this machine because I can't spend the money that 4 terabytes today, and I don't want to have to buy a new machine in a couple of years. And the worst part of it is, what 4 terabytes cost today, you're probably going to be able to get 8 terabytes for, tomorrow, a year from now, 2 years from now. Forcing somebody to buy what they need for 5 years today at today's cost is just horrible. And of course, if that drive bricks, something goes wrong, you have effectively a brick. So I can go on in that area, but
no, you're right. I mean, and it's something to think about, and I don't think people maybe do as much research or think about it the right way as to what they're spending, and especially laptops. Maybe the problem there is they're portable, so you need it to go with you, and but with the desktops, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, the desktop, you can go pretty minimal inside, and now you can plug and play outside, which is a real positive thing. And I will give credit to Apple on the Mac Mini. They just started the Flash, which not a fan of that obviously, but at least the memory is upgradable. You're not in a situation where you're locked. You have to buy what memory you think you might need, at purchase. And the thing about those machines, all Apples, you pay a premium for a Mac, and you've always paid a premium for a Mac, but they last forever. I mean, they really go. They're built. There's no on the planet. I don't think there's any volume system out there produced that's built better than the way Apple builds. Apple does an incredible job on the build quality. By and large, everybody has a hiccup here and there. The butterfly keyboard, maybe, but maybe a little form over function there. But to limit people's ability to service those machines, upgrade them, enhance them, that reduces their lifespan, and I think that substantially reduces their value. So I'm looking forward to a great new Modular Mac Pro that reflects all the stuff they learned that they did wrong with the trash can, and maybe all the things they did right with the cheese grater before it, and we'll see what the future holds.
See what OWC does with it too.
Whatever it is. Well, we already have some ideas, but nonetheless, we're there. We're excited.
Larry, thanks so much for the time. Always good to see you.
No, thank you. I know we ran a little late, but very much. This is always fun. I could talk to you all day long.
Well, one of these days we'll do it. But we should tell the folks the website where they can go to get the ThunderBay and the ThunderBlade and everything. Certainly,
you can now visit. Of course, go to macsales.com, or you'll find out everything about OWC at OWC.com, including partners and resellers that also offer our fine products.
Perfect. Larry, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Likewise, Chuck. Pleasure.
Folks, more from Las Vegas and NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.